Hey everyone, Stacks here, checking out Venom 21. But before we get started, if you could do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube just had a massive purge. We lost a whole bunch of people, lost a bunch of subscribers, but no worries. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll get going on Venom 21 with Donny Cates writing. Mark Bagley is back doing pencils. Andy Owens is your inker. Frank Martin and Eric Arcianega on colors. So if you weren't checking out the Absolute Carnage storyline, let me get you caught up on that. And at the end of this, what you had is you had Carnage going around and collecting all these symbiotes from individuals who would carry symbiotes. It's called codices. It was imprinted on their DNA. So he went around and collected a bunch of these, and every time it strengthened him. He was doing this with the intent to summon the symbiote god Null and to awaken him. And throughout this whole process, he actually manages to assume Venom, and he takes Venom from Eddie Brock as well. Well, fortunately, Eddie managed to grab another bunch of symbiotes that the maker had extracted from a bunch of heroes, including like Captain America and Wolverine, and he put that symbiote on and faced Carnage in this Devil Carnage form, and he actually managed to win, but Carnage had him kind of in this checkmate, because if Eddie assumed all of these symbiotes, the codices would all be back together and it would awaken Null. If Carnage assumed Eddie's, then Null gets awoken. Regardless, Null is now awake. And that's where we kick this off. We start with the absolute unthinkable, and that is Eddie Brock shaving his beautiful man beard. He's shaving, and we're getting the Eddie Brock monologue talking about he was faced with the decision to either sacrifice his son for the world or to save his son, and he chose to save his son. Maybe not the most heroic thing, but he's not very good at being a hero, his own words. Regardless, his son Dylan is still alive, and Null is coming. There's nothing that can be done about it. Really, the only thing he can do at this point is live as long as he can. It's about at this point, after the beard is good and butchered, that Dylan comes in and tells him, "Look man, Car's here, you're gonna be late." I'm glad to see that the sleeper symbiote is still hanging out with Dylan. That's pretty cool. And Dylan tells Eddie what we're all thinking. You look weird without your beard. I don't like it. Well, apparently finish getting dressed just means that the symbiote's going to change to a suit rather than an undershirt. But while this is happening, Eddie looks back over his shoulder and says, "Hey, you going to stick with Eddie then? Or you giving any thought to calling me, you know?" And he can't even say dad. He can't even say it. So how is Dylan going to be able to do that? And Dylan kind of stomps off and tells him, "Look, you're going to be late. This is important, right?" Eddie tries to stop him, but Venom pops in his head and says, "Look, it's okay, Eddie. He just needs time. And, by the way, you really are going to be late if you don't hurry up." So something that happens here is we find out that Peter Parker actually spoke to Liz Allen on behalf of Eddie and Dylan and basically got them a place to stay temporarily while they got back on their feet following everything that, went on. So they've been living with Liz and Normie. But anyways, they say their goodbyes, and Eddie gets in one of the cars, and then has to ask the question, "All right, so you're going to tell me where this super secret hideout thing is, or..." And suddenly the car starts scanning him and confirms that it's Eddie. And the driver, with these weird black eyes, tells him, "Yeah, go ahead, please buckle your seatbelt." And the car takes off, just folds the wheels underneath, takes off, and it takes him to Avengers Mountain. And as he arrives, Captain America is there to greet him, shake his hand, and Eddie's confused. He's like, "Look, I appreciate the invite, but I don't know what you want," basically. And Cap's just like, "Hey, look, we're just having a conversation, Eddie. We appreciate what you've done the last couple weeks. You've done a lot. We just need a few more pieces of the puzzle in place. That's all." And Eddie, kind of confused, says, "And can I ask what for?" And he says, "Of course, but don't ask me, ask them." And he opens the door, and all the Avengers are sitting there waiting. And at this point, Venom has to remind Eddie to keep breathing. And he can't believe it. He's like, no. You want me to be an Avenger? I don't." And Cap slows down. He says, maybe not. Like I said, we're just having a conversation right now. And Cap just keeps going, saying, "A lot of this is up to you and what you want. And, obviously you have my vote. After everything that happened in Absolute Carnage, of course he has Cap's vote. But you know, the team and I still have to talk about it. For now, why don't you just meet everyone? And Venom is still having to remind him, breathe, Eddie, breathe, you aren't breathing. And as introductions are being made, Venom sees Thor, and he immediately is like, look, we know this one. He defeated Null in the ancient times. We need an ally for what is coming. And at the same time that this is going on, Eddie's just going in his head that, no, we don't deserve this. And as Venom goes to reassure him that, look, you know, that's not true, suddenly Carnage's voice pops in his head. And it's like, kill him, just cut him open and see what his guts taste like. And at that point, it's all Eddie can do to kind of tune Carnage out. And Carnage's like, no, you don't tell us no, Brock. You don't shut us up, you understand? You think you could kill me? You killed Cletus, but Carnage never dies. And of course, all the Avengers are seeing him grab his head and everything, and Thor steps up and says, Edward, are you unwell? And Eddie just plays it off like, yeah, I'm fine. I was just thinking that, you know, me and Dylan have really been through a lot, and it'd be good if I just had some time off for the two of us. So yeah, just give me some time to think about it. And while all this is going on, all that Cap is just telling him, look, yeah, of course, you know, you get your house in order. You guys have been through a lot. You deserve that. Yeah, I'll have the car take you back. Don't worry about it. Just take your time. And while this is going on, Venom is screaming in his head, Eddie, help me. I can't hear you. Where did you go? And you have Carnage just laughing. But with Carnage screaming all these things in his head, the last thing that Cap does for Eddie is he hands him a card and it says, you ever need anything, just call. No questions asked. From there, when Eddie gets home, he just breezes right through the living room. Doesn't even really say hi to anyone. Just says, look, I'm going to bed. I don't feel well. He gets in there, looks in the mirror, finds these pills. And he's standing there listening to Carnage go, what's the matter, Master Brock? This is what you wanted. You absorbed us back into your mind, Brock. What did you think was gonna happen? And then Eddie looks down at these pills and he can hear Venom saying, Eddie, the quiet pills. No, please don't, Eddie. And Carnage kicks in. Take the whole bottle. It's the only way. And Venom pleads, Eddie, no, please don't. Stop. We can fight this together. And Carnage says, there is no fighting this. You can shut us out, Eddie. Take all the pills you want, but you cannot run forever. I'm wrapped around your heart, big boy, and there is not a thing you can do about it. And Eddie, after downing a handful of these pills, walks into the bed and just passes out face first onto the mattress. While he's passed out, he has this dream, and what's happening is Dylan is reaching out to him. They're underwater, or they're in the all black. They're in the Black Sea, if you will, the symbiote sea, and Dylan's reaching out for Eddie, and Eddie's trying to swim to him, and then Null, out of nowhere, comes in, grabs him, and right then, as Dylan screams, Dad! Eddie wakes up. And as he looks around, and there's just symbiote goo all over the place. He feels something on his back. He turns around, looks in the mirror, and God is coming. It's just plastered there by Carnage. And that's enough for Eddie. He says, I'm not doing this again. Not this time. I'm not letting the evil live inside of me. So he takes a note, leaves it with Dylan, kisses him goodbye, and tells him, look, I love you, buddy. I'll be right back. He goes, he makes the call to Captain America and says, look, I need a ride. Cap, it's Eddie. No questions, right? And where he's taking him, well, he needs a plane, first of all, because he's flying him out to Bone Island, which this is where, when Venom kidnapped Spider-Man and tried to murder him, this is where he took him. He's isolated, he'll be left alone, he doesn't have to worry about the symbiote getting off the island, and there he can take and burn every atom of him off of the face of the earth. Well, this Quinjet is programmed to fly right over the island, and Eddie's supposed to parachute out. However, as they get close, Venom sounds the warning alarm saying, look, Eddie, if you can hear me, there's no time. Listen, he's awake, and I don't know how much longer I can hold him. And he's going to, and Carnage shoots a tentacle out and busts right through the main nav computer for this, for the Quinjet, and for whatever reason, that detonates the engine. But regardless, the entire plane goes down and crashes right into the side of one of the mountains on this island. And in the flame of the crash, you have Venom screaming, Eddie, no! And you have Carnage just laughing, and he asks him, was it worth it? Is this how you wanted to die? Crawling on your belly, begging for your life? And Brock gets up and tells him, you took my other from me, and I'm gonna get it back, and I'm gonna kill you. And Carnage looks at him and says, is that right, Papa? And what am I supposed to do, huh? Am I supposed to be afraid? Is that what you want? You want me to cower? And Eddie just grits his teeth and says, no, I want you to run. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Eddie Brock has in store for Carnage here on Venom Island. So as far as my take on this, it's definitely a recommend. Donny Cates has not disappointed with his Venom storyline. Honestly, I haven't been disappointed in any of his Marvel storylines, from Silver Surfer, Thanos, Cosmic Ghost Rider, any of it. It's all been good. And I'm excited to pick up Thor here in it's next week. His Thor run's going to be really interesting, because I'm interested to see how that, because I just have a feeling it's going to tie into the Null run as well, because everything has so far. I understand why if you're not into Null, you're not into Donny Cates, and that's cool, because everything does seem to tie back into him. But I mean, he's building up a big bad guy on the cosmic level for the future, so it's interesting to see where and how he's doing that. So as far as Venom 21, definitely pick it up. Going into this Venom Island storyline, you got so many different things hanging out there. You have Null on the way to Earth. You have whatever's going on with Dylan. He now has this power to control symbiotes. You have Eddie sitting here battling Carnage out on this island. I don't know what's not to like about that. We'll have to check it out and see where it goes from there. Mark Bagley on art is I'm glad that he's doing this. It's really good. And but guys, that's all I have for now. I appreciate you checking out the channel. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, so every time I drop a video, you're one of the first to know. Guys, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch. That's all I got. Real Comic Stacks out.